Hey. Amazon Prime. Prime. Hey everyone, welcome back, and if you're new, thanks for stopping by. On today's video, we're gonna be building my PC. Maybe you bought some parts during Amazon Prime Day sale, or maybe you're planning on building something during this Black Friday sale. Well, I'm gonna go through the whole process here on installing the motherboard, installing the CPU, the AIO cooler. We're gonna do some cable management on the case, installing the M.2 SSD and then the SSD. So now we're ready for the next part, and that's getting all this shit off the table so we can get started on the cable management. First things first is we're going to install the CPU, probably the most nerve-wracking part for everybody. Make sure that when you grab it from the pins. And as you can see here on the bottom left, see that little arrow? You should find a corresponding one on your motherboard. As you can see, there's where it is on mine. So be real careful. Make sure we have this little lever up that moves the socket a little bit so you can go ahead and place in your processor. It should just be able to drop right in there. You shouldn't have to force it in. And once it's in, go ahead and lock it. So next on the list, we got this Samsung 970 EVO M.2. So we're gonna go ahead and install it. We're gonna have to take off this cover here, which looks like a Phillips or a flathead. So let's get that rolling now. So you're gonna go ahead and install that spacer and then slide this in here. Like so. And then you're gonna go ahead and screw it in down here, not too tight, and then put the cover back on and we're good to go. There it is. The next step before we put it into the case would be installing our Corsair Vengeance RGB Pros. And we're gonna wanna make sure that we install this in a dual channel mode. So it's gonna be, we got DIMM A1, B2, B1, B2. And so we can use dual channel, we're going to use A2 and B2 as recommended by the motherboard manufacturer here. That's one. Here comes the other one. And there it is. We got 32 gigabytes. This Corsair 4000X RGB came with 3 fans that are RGB capable and a RGB LED hub here. This actually is not a controller, but I have the controller. It came with my LL20 and my Commander Pro, I believe, can also plug into this. So we may just use this one, I'm not sure. We'll see, because I have some LED strips, so the other one may serve as well. This case already has the motherboard standoffs pre-installed up here. For the actual ATX motherboard, it has a little key here where it shows you where you would put the standoffs for the micro ATX. This is what it came with. As I can see here, we should have our little motherboard screws right there. And I guess case screws. We'll see what these things are for, or maybe they're extra. We'll see, but let's check it out and let's get this rolling. First things first, you want to make sure you install your motherboard IO shield. Please don't install the motherboard and then forget to install this. So this is pretty easy. Should just slide right in there. It has these little clips, you just force them in, not too hard. It should go in pretty easy. And that's the IO2 install. Oh, there you go. Let's move on. Let's install the motherboard now, please. Slide right here. There it is. Make sure we line them up properly. I'm gonna start at one corner first, maybe in a diagonal fashion. That way you don't over tighten on one end and then have an issue tightening on the other end when you get to it. There it is, folks. We have it there. You can mount them in the front if you want, but mine aren't really aesthetically pleasing and they don't match. So I'm gonna, I guess, mount it here and then just leave them in the back. So they have their little mounting brackets here. But imagine it goes like this. I don't think it fits underneath. There we go. Go ahead and do that to the other one, or to the other one if you have any more, or and there we go. Good thing it's not on front because it doesn't match. Look at that guy, he's got a beard like me. I'm Kingston. I got it because it reminds me of myself. I got it because it makes me feel like a man. Kingston. Looks like it's pretty easy. Looks like it should just actually just pop in place here and not give us too much of an annoying setup. We'll see. Let's see if we can get it in here without breaking anything. Can we? It appears we're halfway there. And we made it. There it is. No screws, guys. The future. Maybe later we won't need a big old monster fat hard drive like this. Oh wait, we don't. We have these already. And the little baby ones. The little baby M.2s. Went ahead and took off these 3 brackets because this video card uses, I think, 2.5 slots. So we're gonna need the space here. So this should be pretty easy. Make sure you grab it evenly. Slide it behind the motherboard there. Make sure you're even. You'll feel it pop in. Feel this pop in right here. And then now you're just gonna retighten, and that's it. It looks like it's secure enough. What do you think, Brom? You ready for your new spot, buddy? I am ready, Dom. I am ready for my new spot. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and install the PSU. So we can plug in our peripherals, our hard drives, we can plug in the connectors, and we can use our cable mod kit. So here it is. And we're gonna make sure that we put this with the fan down. We put this fan down because this is where, as you can see there in the case, that's where it's gonna get its airflow. And awesome enough, there's a filter down here to help keep our power supply nice and clean. Ooh, and as you can see here, we have very little space to work. Very not cool. I didn't really want to move the cage forward any further. Yeah, this is pretty, that's actually not a good amount of space there. Oof. Would have thought we'd have more space, but especially since we're gonna add some cables from Cable Mod, some extensions. But we'll see, we'll find a way to stuff it in there and make sure we keep it nice and clean anyways. So next we're gonna go ahead and secure the actual PSU in the back. As you can see, no anti-static wrist bracelet, because fuck it, YOLO. All right guys, so check it out. We're gonna go ahead and install these serial ATA cables, and we're gonna try to do them very nicely so it looks real neat. I'm gonna go from the back, and then I'm gonna try to get these straight edges and put them in there, and we'll see how it comes out. All right, so we went ahead and plugged them in. We're gonna try to make them, put them real nice and neat here. Got a little piece of Velcro here, small piece. May need to put some stuff through there later, but we'll retighten it. I really like that. It looks pretty nice. Bring it up here so it doesn't show on the other side. So it's high as a card. And there. Now we just need to plug in the power. We're gonna go ahead and install these power supply sleeve cables, black and white. I got from Asia Horse. They come with black and white combs. All right, guys. So we went ahead and we braided them. We ended up using both of them. We're gonna see if it looks nice with both instead of just one or the other. And I'm guessing they include half and half, so the visible one is the one on the outside, but I guess I'll just try to, maybe I'll just be able to show a few. Maybe, we'll see how it goes right now. So we're gonna go ahead and plug these in to the motherboard 24 pin. Then we have the 8 pin for the CPU, which comes with, it's like 2 connectors, very similar to the way it is on the actual power supply, as you can see. And then the 2 8 pin for the video card right here. All right, so let's get them plugged in. We're gonna run the extension that plugs into the back through here. And then with the clip towards the outside, at least for this Asus motherboard. Oh, and there it is. So we went ahead and finished braiding these as well. They go with the clip down, so make sure when you braid them, you use a tab on the way up. And then let's see. Looks like it went in snug. And there it is. And now let's see how we're gonna hide these things. All right, now we need to hide all this shit in the back. So I'm planning to put this 24 pin, tuck it in way over here where we can hopefully forget about it. Get the same connector here. Plug it in same way that it goes, the clip. I don't have too much space in this case. Let's take a look at the front. Let's see how it looks. Basically, we already put in the 24 pin extension from Asia Horse, and then the 2 8 pin connections, and this is what we got in the front end so far. I think it looks pretty good. Look at that. For this particular build here, we're gonna leave the very shitty AMD mounting bracket that I'm sure everybody hates. So basically we're gonna get our Corsair IIO. It comes with mounting brackets already set up for the Intel processors. On this particular one, we're gonna use these AMD processors, this AMD mount with a little hinge going up. It should be real easy to snap in place, as you can see. Next up, we're gonna mount these little deals on it. These horrible AMD, I hate them, type of brackets. Oh, it's all right. I got another one in our hand. I guess this is how it's gonna be, how we're gonna tighten it once we have it mounted. Do the same to the other side. there it is. AMD, Corsair's AMD horrible mounting bracket or setup. See how fun this is gonna be when I get to it in a little bit. Our next step is we're gonna get to the actual mounting of the AIO cooler. I'm gonna choose the front because I have a blower style video card and that releases a lot of hot air into the actual case here. So if I have it top mounted, all that heat is pretty much not gonna really help the CPU get any cooler. And through the front, since it's ambient temperature, it shouldn't really heat up the radiator. The radiator shouldn't be heated up too much from just the CPU. So in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure there's actually science behind it, it should actually keep the whole thing cooler. Now, if the card was enclosed, then we could do a different setup because I wouldn't have too much heat flowing up from the release of the video card. So we're gonna go ahead and mount it on top. And since I have a couple extra fans, we may try the push-pull in the front just so I can keep the temperature down since I do have extra RGB fans, but we'll see. All right, guys, so now we're gonna install the fans. I'm gonna try a push-pull configuration. It seems like I'll have enough space in the front and I have 2 extra fans, so might as well do it. And plus these have real nice gray accents, which should actually match with the case right there. And I'm gonna put these in the back since they're also stronger. And I know that when you're pulling, it causes a little bit more wear and tear on the actual fan. So since these are probably designed for push and pulling, I'm gonna use these to pull, and I'm gonna use the ones in the front that come with the case to push. And anyways, you wanna make sure you mount them properly. Usually the sticker in the back, that's where it comes out the air. And you should also have a, right here, as you can see right there, it's a little arrow out that way. So it's pushing that way or pulling this way. And in this case, we're gonna have them pulling. So we're gonna put them here. Case should have came with a bunch of long screws, and that's what we're gonna use to get this installed, to get these installed to this side of the radiator. Oh. All right, so there we go. Looks like we're good. Now we need to mount it to the front. Let's get to that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use long screws, and they're gonna go through those fans and they're gonna hold up the radiator. And what we're gonna do is, well, I'll show you right now when we get to the front. A little tip here so it can be easier to mount it. Once you already have your fans mounted, of course. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove one and one, and one and one. That way the fans stay mounted and I can use the longer screws while the fan's held up to make contact, and they can be held in place easier instead of having to try to juggle everything up at the same time. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and mount the AIO. We're gonna put one of the long screws right up here. And I zip tied these a little bit so it looks a little cleaner on this other side here. Run it through the bottom. So we're gonna pull those off, straighten them out later. Oh, there we go. Looks like it will fit, guys. I need a bigger screw head. All right, now we get the other one. All right, I'm gonna finish up here and then we'll get to see the end result. All right, so we got it mounted and it looks pretty nice, as you can see there. We were pretty successful in setting it up. It went pretty smoothly, besides the fact that I totally freaking destroyed this. At least I smeared it everywhere. Good thing I have some actual thermal paste here that I use, so I'll clean this up a bit and then we can reapply before we actually install it on the processor, which we'll be doing next. All right, so now we're gonna clean up our mistake using some alcohol. We're gonna clean up our our Corsair heatsink mess here. Should come off pretty easy with some good strong alcohol. Make sure it's cleaned up. Make sure you don't get no oil on it or get your fingertips on it after you've cleaned it. Make sure you use an actual dry one without any alcohol afterwards. Look at that. Let's go. Now we're gonna fold this baby over before we do the actual install. So we're gonna lay her down on her back. This is what I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna make sure just to put a small amount, not too much. Just a little dot right there. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and mount the actual AIO. Make sure you have it the way you want it, you know, vertically, as you can see right here. Make sure you run your pipes where you need to run them through. We're gonna be running them through the front on this case here, in this particular case. So you're gonna pretty much insert these little brackets here on the end, and once you get it snug, you're just gonna tighten it up with the screwdriver. And we should be good. So let's try to get this thing in here. You know, it might be a little bit on the tricky side. All right, we got one end in. I just need to get the other one in. Okay. And that's it. That wasn't too difficult. Went pretty smoothly if you ask me. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and finish installing this AIO here. We're gonna have to plug this USB deal like this. Let's see. Find our spot. There it is. And then what we're gonna do next is some cable management. I went down to the hardware store and I got me some cable sleeving, or I guess some slink. I'm not sure what this is really called, but I'm gonna use it to hide this and then hopefully slipstream this in there as well, and then have it come out the top either here or there and see where we can get it to see where it's as neat as it can be. So it's just $3 for around 10 feet, I believe. Oh, there we go. Now here we are. As you can see, it looks pretty neat. We'll tuck it in a little bit further once we get it plugged in the back. And we'll get these two fans connected to the extensions off this AIO. All right, so we ended up using since we got 10 foot of that sleeve, we ended up using it on the front cables so we can neatly run them up to this controller here. This is from the AIO. Look at that. Look at how close that plug was. That serial ATA barely made it. That's super nice and tight right there. All right, so here we're gonna have our two connections and two 4-pins. You see the blocks are a little bit, the other one should have a little yellow mark that says they're RGB. I cut the little pieces off so I could stuff it in here to make it look neater. So basically, you're gonna get the two power connectors here. As you can see, they only go in one way. Let's see here. As you can see, they're bigger than the RGB ones. That's gonna be to power our fans. And then we have these two extra ones that are gonna be for the RGB. All right, and now we have to plug this into the USB header we're gonna probably run it from down here. We're gonna put these with the back end facing out because they're gonna be our exhaust up. We're getting the air coming in and then out. So it's gonna be a push. Besides, we got a little pull thing going on here, but primarily a push out. So we went ahead and mounted the LL120s up top. We ran the cables in the middle here, and we put a shroud on this. That way we can better find it. And we did the same thing here on this one. Ran a little shroud on top since I had some extra. As you can see, it looks pretty neat. And here it is. And this is gonna go to our Commander Pro that we're gonna set up here in a little bit. Okay, guys, so now we're gonna try to set up this Commander Pro. As you can see here, we have no damn space. And once you see how humongous this freaking thing is, look at that. For scale, it's bigger than our SSD. I was thinking about, it also came with these extensions. So we can probably mount it underneath somewhere, but I'm thinking it looks pretty good. Maybe I can mount it right there, attached to the power supply. Maybe something like this. So it stays neat right there. We'll see. I don't know if we'll have enough space to run all the cables effectively. We'll see. We're gonna see what we can do. And then we plugged in the audio jack, and we're gonna finish putting some tape on this so we make sure it stays dark, looks black. For the USB connector, this is for the Commander Pro. Look where we put it, right there. Look where I put it. This thing's running through here. This is gonna go to a USB connection. And if you have your motherboard manual, you'd find out where it's at. You can see on ours right here. There's a USB connection right there. 9. Oh, back to where it's nice and clean. Look at that. Oh, wow. So much nicer and cleaner here. So we're gonna go ahead and bring it over, and we're gonna try to put it in there as discreetly as we can, real nice and neat. Down there, let's see, let's get a little zoom in for you guys. There we go. Let's see if you can get her to focus over there. Oh, there it is. Well, I have a big old hand, it's hard to put it. All right, let's go. Looks like we're good, and look at that. Looks pretty clean. Let's try to get a little close up. See that? And then you see that one over there? We put the code on there too. A little black tape sheath. This is the USB 3.0 header for the case. So that's where you plug that in. Try to make it nice and neat and even. And use something on the other side to hold it up. So there's that. And then we got to make sure we have all the power connectors. Everything's good. We got our CPU power over there, 8-pin. Motherboard, 24-pin. And then we got our 2 8-pins for our GPU. And now we just need one more thing. We need to plug in the reset, the power switch, and then the power LED, the blinking for the SSD. I wanted to plug those in here. Let's zoom out. All right, guys, so we went ahead and we completed installing the connectors for the top of the case and the USB 3.0 connectors up here, and then the audio connector for the front panel as well went back here, and then a USB connection that goes to the RGB Commander Pro. This is it. This is the end result of the cable management. The best that I could do on the backside. This case doesn't have too much space to really work with it really well. So, and since I still had a hard drive, I really couldn't utilize all that bottom, but we should be good here. And it turned out pretty good. At least I think so. So I went ahead and finished installing the LEDs. I'm gonna put these down here, pointing at this wall so they diffuse a bit. I don't really wanna see the beads of the real strong LED. So I want it to look diffused, kind of like a wave instead of beads. A wave instead of particles or waves. Okay, so anyways, guys, this is basically right here. I ran it through there. I ran it out the top, and I got this one pointing over here. And then I have it running up here. And then I got it tied up over there. And then I got one running behind those two fans. You can probably see it right there. But that's it. We got everything cleaned up. This is pretty much the result. This is as clean as I could get it. All right, so here we are, the moment of truth. We got it powered on. Let's see. Hey guys, I'm glad you made it to the end. As you can see, it was a lot of work, but the end product is amazing. So I highly recommend trying to build your own computer rather than buying a pre-built computer, especially if you want to save some money, because you can save a lot of money and then you can kind of customize your PC by choosing the specific parts, maybe the specific colors that you like, and you can create your own custom build like this. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe for the future videos I will be releasing for you guys.